On today's Locked On Guardians, we're looking for answers in spring training. Slade Cecconi's new pitch mix, finding a platoon bat in the outfield, and starting our Guardians prospect rankings.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello again, Guardians fans. This is Locked On Guardians, the only daily podcast that covers your Cleveland Guardians from the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. Welcome on in. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the number one sports podcast network. Thanks to you. I'm Justin Lada, one of the two co-hosts, back and glad to be back alongside my friend and co-host Jeff Ellis, who I've been talking to about baseball forever, but on here for the last 4 years. And I've spent 19 years covering the Guardians minor league system as a prospect writer and editor.
I want to thank Justin for coming back, so I don't have to be doing these solo right now. But as you mentioned, I'm Jeff Ellis. I've been here since Locked On expanded into baseball. Before that, I was a national writer at Scout and 24/7, focused on prospects in the draft. I want to thank you for making today's episode your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. Big shout out to all of our everydayers, our insiders, people who watch no matter what. I was looking at the data today of our episodes. 60% of our watchers are subscribers, and that means about 3,000 of our subscribers aren't daily watchers. So if you one simple thing you can do, just watch every day.
Yeah, we love that. We appreciate that. Or if you auto download, all that fun stuff. Coming up on later on today's show, we are going to dive into our Guardians prospect rankings, number 30 through 21. We'll start there. We've got our first injury and debut. We'll talk about that later. A little bit, we're going to discuss that the Guardians have found their right-handed platoon answer in the outfield. Leading off today, can Slade Cecconi's adjustments lead him to more sustainable success? In this episode of Locked On Guardians, proudly brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show. Locked On/Locked On. Use code Locked On to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and baseball as it should be. Rated E for everyone. All right, so the Guardians completed their game against the Texas Rangers on Monday, and Slade Cecconi had some interesting things to say after the game. Looking at that, and again, this is where I will continue to reiterate. I know people who listen every day are probably like, shut up. We've heard you say this a million times, and Jeff says this a million times, but we're not looking at results in spring training. We're not evaluating games or analyzing games. It's, again, the signal through the noise. So what we're looking at today is Slade Cecconi threw 33% cutters. And that's significant because, 31% cutters, 33% fastballs. That is a significant thing you want to look into during spring training, because last year, Slade Cecconi threw cutters 3% of the time. So almost a 30% increase today. And now it's one game, 52 pitches. So we can't guarantee that's going to be a thing. But he's clearly working on it at the very least. And he dialed his fastball usage down 11 points, which thank God, because his fastball got obliterated last season. And the cutter, Jeff, got 6 swings and misses out of 12 swings. That's significant. And Slade Cecconi mentioned after the game that he has turned his slider last year, which was very slurvy, into a cutter because he felt he could manipulate the shape better. And he switched his slider to more of a sweeper, which a sweeper, as opposed to a slider, gets more horizontal break and less vertical break, whereas a typical slider gets both vertical and horizontal, and the cutter is more also horizontal as well.
Yeah, a year ago, we kind of said that a lot of things were smoke and mirrors, and a lot of the data just kind of said he was, the metaphorical pumpkin, right? Going to turn back into one. And there's a stuff there Cleveland like. There's stuff there Tampa like. A player like him, you can go back and listen to your great interview with Lance Brzezinski, where you guys talked about him and some of the traits and what worked and what didn't. So I think it's these type of improvements were a necessity, and credit to him and the team for getting ahead of it and going out and working on putting together some things to maybe turn him into more of a long-term option.
Yeah, I think the question is, can these tweaks give some more sustained success or sustainable, I should say, because last year a lot of the underlying metrics did not paint a very pretty picture for Slade Cecconi. He really survived in the fact that he's aggressive in the zone, and he's talked about that during spring training too. He's talked about how he's always going to give up home runs because he's a guy who throws in the zone a lot. He has a very high zone rating. So he fills the zone with strikes. That's going to get him hit. It's, not dissimilar to guys like Josh Tomlin, except Josh Tomlin never threw 97, which is what Slade Cecconi got up to in spring training, which is great. But we know the velocity hasn't been effective for him because the fastball movement's been pretty poor. It's 97 can be hit if it doesn't have any really unique traits or movement to it. Doesn't have a lot of spin, doesn't have a lot of breakup in the zone. I did see some of his fastballs this spring have been up to like 17 induced vertical break, but he's still averaging runs 15 or 16, which is where he was a year ago. So the fastball just doesn't have a lot of special traits, which is why you need cutters, you need sinkers, and you need sliders, you need sweepers. You need to have the kitchen sink approach for guys like that. And that's why he is throwing the sweeper now. That's why he is increasing the cutter usage. The curveball, it was a really good pitch from a year ago because it's incredibly slow compared to the rest of his stuff. But, hitters, I have this conversation all the time with one of our listeners. Hitters are not looking for curveballs or fastballs. They're looking for velocity. They're trying to anticipate what the velocity is going to be because it's all about timing. So you have to have a fastball that moves in different directions. You got to have a sinker. You got to have a cutter. You got to have something that goes above the zone. So I'm just wondering, I wonder if the emphasis on the cutter is something he is working on. If this is, yes, he's working on it in spring training, but is this going to be a thing he carries into the year where he takes the cutter from 3% usage to his second most used pitch? And is that going to be enough to elevate the profile over a guy we just hope, like you said, doesn't turn into a pumpkin?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't have a great answer, but again, because we haven't seen
until it happens. Yeah.
So, but right now it's like the focus again, as you were saying, it's not on what happens in the game. It's what they're working on, and I just look at this as necessary developments and hopefully ways to get more out of Slade Cecconi, who. God, did they even go to him once in the postseason? They put him in the pen and they were going to everyone. I don't even think he pitched in the postseason, right?
He did. He pitched game 3, but he had the quick hook. They went. They took him out
I forgot
immediately.
Yeah, he almost did nothing. It's like getting some ability to put a little more faith, a little more trust in him. It's hopefully this works out. But you have to, as we've talked about with Sean Armstrong on this very team, and get if you listened at all to the broadcast on Sunday's game, and we talked about this with Armstrong. It's like the evolution of pitcher now is adding a new pitch, knowing what's coming, moving your mixes, and any pitcher who's just sitting there kind of stagnant is not evolving, is kind of dying in the sport anymore. So it's great to see this. He's a player who more than maybe any pitcher on the staff needed to do this. So this is just a great development.
That's exactly what Sean Armstrong said before games started. I asked him about learning the kick change and the whole sweeper that he's added the last couple of years. And he said, literally, you have to keep adapting. You can't just come into the next season assuming that you're going to be able to get away with the same pitch mix you had a year ago. You got to try to stay a step ahead of the hitters because hitters are trained for everything. These guys are really smart. As Billy Bean said, as Brad Pitt said, as Billy Bean, adapt or die. Adapt or die. That's what Brad Pitt said as Billy Bean. I'd be curious to see what happened there. And the other thing that happened in this game too. Oh, I should probably point out too, the 6 swings and misses on that cutter. By the way, Texas had their regular lineup, and we had Evan Carter, we had Wyatt Langford, who did hit a missile of a ball off of Cecconi, a sinker that went into Wyatt Langford's no zone, where he shouldn't have thrown it, and that got destroyed. And then Corey Seager, Jack Peterson, Jake Berger, Josh Smith. So the Rangers had a pretty much a regular lineup against Cecconi. So that's always a good thing. So we'll take that for what it's worth. Jeff, we got to talk about platoon bats, everyone's favorite subject. Do the Guardians, do they have their answer in the outfield as a right-handed platoon bat? We're going to find out
after the break.
All right, let's check it out. I'm thrilled to be talking about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26, the greatest game in baseball, is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans, you are going to have a hard time pulling yourselves away from the game. I have been playing MLB The Show for a long time. I switched to PlayStation just to play MLB The Show. I grew up playing hours into the night with my friends growing up. Was always a big fan of the franchise mode, trying to bring the Cleveland Guardians to a World Series. My friends got me into Diamond Dynasty over the years to start playing as older players. I love getting Grady Sizemore a couple of years ago. I love playing the World Baseball Classic challenges. And I even did Road to the Show. I was always a reliever. Quick appearances, get yourself called to the majors quickly. If you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or you want to enjoy America's pastime in an exciting new way, you're going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team. Franchise players, see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBTheShow.com/lockdown. Use code LOCKDOWN to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection required. Pre-order now. Available March 17th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Baseball as it should be. Rated E for everyone. March is here, and that means it's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes, it is a lot, right? Trying to book an appointment, that is not the most convenient way. You don't want to sit in a waiting room with a stack of papers. You want to email back and forth, wondering if your situation's really going to resonate. This year, you are getting a major upgrade, a major league upgrade, if you will, into a TurboTax face-to-face with a real tax expert. Your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot, and just like that, you're done. TurboTax experts work to get you every dollar that you deserve while getting you real-time notifications as you go about your day. It is such a relief to be able to walk in and meet a real person, and walk out knowing your taxes are being handled exactly the way you need them to. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. TurboTax. Baseball is back, and you can join the Everydayer Club. Lock in with us. Get ad-free episodes of the show, access to the group chat on Discord. Check out LockedOnGuardians.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes to head over there. We chat during the game with the Everydayer Club. We've been doing the spring training, all kinds of fun stuff. And you can chat with other hosts on all of your favorite Locked On shows over on the Discord, plus ad-free episodes, everyone's favorite. All right, Jeff, another interesting thing happened in this game. Angel Martinez hit the hardest ball he has ever hit of his career. It was 108. I don't know whether or not he's hit a ball 108 miles an hour in the spring before, but he's never hit one in the regular season in his 2 seasons so far. And he hit another 103-mile-an-hour ball today, a home run off of lefty Austin Gomber. So I know we have to be careful about how much we buy into exit velocities in spring training because of the environment, what pitchers are working on, how pitches move in the dry air, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Maybe there's something to Angel Martinez hitting the crap out of the ball against lefties that says that he is the platoon bat in the outfield that the Guardians need. I mean, the numbers were good a year ago. We weren't sure how sustainable they were, but I don't know. Do the exit velocities give us a hint that maybe it might work?
Yeah, I think they do. And I was even diving into some of his data. It's not the most consistent in the minors, but he's definitely had some years where he hit lefties well. And, at this point in time, I look at him as a player where you have to count on him because they don't have great options. And, I talked about in yesterday's show, whether or not you love platoons or not, like, let's be honest, it just makes so much sense to platoon Chase DeLauter because we know there's going to be a limited number of at-bats. We know there's the health concern. So you need an outfielder, someone who can platoon with him. And Martinez it was up and down, but when he was on, he was lights out. When he was off, he was ice cold. You're hoping over the course of the season it's going to balance out. But until you have anything else that makes sense, which I don't know where they're going to find it, you just got to, it's not hoping because we do have data, we do have performance, and him hitting the ball hard is going to be one of the ways for him to have some success. But you're kind of put in a situation where it needs to work out. But there's reasons to think it can.
So in 2024, both sides of the plate, or I'll go right-handed. 2024, he had a 33% hard hit rate against righties and a 26.9% hard hit rate last year against righties. If you go against lefties, last year it was 33.9. So, it's a 7-point difference in hard hit rate between lefties and righties. So there is a little bit better data there against lefties in terms of that. Exit velocity is actually not great, but at least the hard hit rate was much better against lefties. I'm willing to give it another shot. I mean, if you do try the experiment in center field with Stephen Kwan, you could put Kwan in center and you could still have Martinez be the backup center fielder. Plus, you have Nolan Jones. You could have Jones and Martinez platoon in left, or Valera, and you could also have him platoon in right with Chase DeLauter, because Angel Martinez has a really good throwing arm, so I think he could handle right field if you really wanted him to as well. So there is opportunity there.
The question of his ratings were pretty putrid. Like, he was one of the worst defensive center fielders by multiple metrics.
So right and left field might be a better option.
Yeah, but purely in that platoon role. I think you and I are in agreement where it doesn't make sense to do anything other than a platoon role for him going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Kwan has such a good arm in left field. He plays the ball off the wall very well, and he is accurate with his throws. You might miss that by moving into center field because the throw is very different. But Martinez has a great arm, so maybe that works in left. I think it works in right. So maybe that's the platoon. You know, David Fry. Maybe it sounds like he's going to catch more than anything else, but maybe David Fry, moonlights in right field a little bit or something. So, I think there's an opportunity for him there. I'm willing to see if it can happen. The data there is not overwhelmingly like, oh, this has to be the thing you do. It works, but given their options, I'm not against it. I guess I'm talking myself into a little bit more. Plus, I like the speed, and you talked about this before. Like, there are times when he gets on a hot streak and he can hit anybody, but then there are times he gets so cold and he makes every pitcher look like Tarek Skubal, I think is what you said a couple weeks ago.
Which I'll stand by.
It's ride the highs and try to minimize. When you platoon them, you can minimize the lows, because then you're not counting on them every day. The same as Chase DeLauter. You can minimize the injuries and minimize maybe that's your perfect balance. Maybe you minimize the lows of Martinez by playing him all the way against lefties, and you minimize Chase DeLauter's injury risk a little bit by platooning him. That's who wins.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I'm still I gotta be very honest, I'm a little disappointed that we may not see Fry in the outfield. I know they don't want to risk it, but it's like I just would have liked more options. Like, if this does not work out, there really isn't a good fallback that I can think of. Like, if Martinez doesn't work as a platoon, then I know they spent the whole offseason chasing outfield platoon hitters, and then they signed a platoon first baseman, potentially. It's like they still didn't get their needs. So it's like they need Martinez to work out, because right now I don't know what other option they have. You
try this for a little bit, hope it works, and then hopefully
I guess Fairchild. I guess that's the other guy.
There's Fairchild, yeah. You try that, you hope it works, and then if you get to the deadline and you're in it, you trade for Austin Hayes anyway. I don't know. That's something I can think of.
Trade for Lane Thomas.
Yeah, trade for Lane Thomas. Yeah, I don't know.
Royals just added Starling Marte to a major league deal. It was one of the weirder moves I thought of the offseason.
Yeah, who's gonna? He can't play the outfield anymore. But I don't know who's going to DH. They have Carter Jensen, and they have, I don't know. We'll talk about the Royals again in a future episode. Austin Peterson, he is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a triceps injury, so he is not going to be available for depth until like May at the earliest. That's kind of a big blow. He probably wasn't going to be the first arm recalled anyway, I don't think. Right? Like, if there was one of Messick or Allen is going to AAA. I opined last week that I thought there's a chance that Messick could open the year as the 5th starter because of Allen leaving for the World Baseball Classic. I don't know, but whoever those two guys goes to AAA will be the first guy recalled if there's an injury or a doubleheader, and then you've got Nikhazy. So I don't know if Peterson would have been the first guy. I think he might have been the 2nd or 3rd guy at the best. But that does kind of stink to have that guy unavailable until May now. Plus, he's got to build back up. He's got to basically go through spring training again, and we've seen time and time again those guys who have to basically catch up from a spring training injury. They spend all year trying to catch back up, which really stinks.
Yeah, and I just, more than anything, I feel bad for him. He was a 9th round pick who not a lot of those guys make it, and he got this close. And it's kind of a testament to the pitcher and the player to get right up to the cusp where he is right now, and then to get when you're that close to get injured. That just stinks. That more than anything else, he's never was going to be a crucial part of this team. If he was going to be a crucial part, they were hosed. That's not a knock on him. That's just where he was on the depth chart. So I feel I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, especially if Cal Steven gets off to a great start, he could very easily leapfrog him in that. And Peterson's going to be 27 this year, so
yeah, and he's
time is not on his side, which really stinks. So yeah, I hope for him because he seems like a great kid. Also, Peyton Pallete, you're listening to this on Wednesday. He has had shoulder fatigue this spring. He is expected to make his debut on Wednesday against the Dodgers. I got an interesting response from one of our everydayers and insiders on that, Jeff. I'll tell you about that next. And then we'll start debating prospects in the system, number 30 through 21. Stick around for that. College basketball this time of year, it is literally nonstop. You've got big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. You've got early tip-offs and late-night West Coast shootouts. Always action on the board. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into a bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay payoff boost. So you can build college hoops any parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever you want to do with FanDuel. You've got the MAC tournament. You've got a MAC tournament coming up here in Cleveland. You've got the NCAA tournament coming up here. Maybe you're someone who likes a Cinderella story. Maybe Ohio. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you're going to take Duke all the way. Maybe it's Michigan. There's been some good games. We had Arizona over the weekend. We had a lot of interesting games the last 2 weeks, and it's only going to get crazier now that March is here. It's going to be mad. Go safe, go bold, or ride the team you've been following all season. Sure, parlay your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. It's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. MLB opening day is almost here. Can't you feel it in Cleveland, right, with the weather? As long as it's dry and sunny on opening day, we'll be okay. But there are fresh starts. There are big expectations in that first crack of the bat. So whether it's a rookie breakout division race that goes down to the wire, you want to beat the ballpark for it. The only problem is getting tickets can be a real pain. You got surprise fees. You got prices to jump at checkout, all that kind of stuff that just takes the fun out of going to a game. That's why there is Game Time. Game Time is the app that gives fans the advantage with constant innovation, and it's going to allow you to unlock amazing tickets in just a few taps for great experiences. Simple to use. Game Time guarantee is going to get you 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. The best part is the fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay, period. I always check Game Time for great deals. Any event I want to go to, I'm getting tickets right up to the event start because I know I'm going to get the lowest price. I know it's a guaranteed ticket. 2 taps, you're done. No stress, no hidden fees. Great seats in just minutes. That's what makes it so easy to decide to hit a game last minute. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create the account. Redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Make sure you're keeping up with Locked On Guardians every single day during spring training, the regular season. We are here every day for you, and we're free every day wherever you get podcasts. So hit the bell on YouTube to get notified of episodes going live, reaction videos to every news or game, as well as one of our favorite lists that are coming up. 2 favorite lists I think they're coming up. We'll do content on. And please, please, please auto-download on all your favorite audio platforms. I was flying over the weekend, and I auto-downloaded multiple podcasts on there so I could listen on the plane. So it's a great way to do things. Jeff, one of our insiders, our favorite insiders and everydayers, Cheeks Malone, said Peyton Pallette's pitching against the Dodgers. Why would you give them a book on him before the World Series? You're muted, so you're very obviously surprised by that comment. That really threw you for a loop.
Yeah, it's it's a good point. Gosh, I think maybe you aren't agreeing with me, but just him being so late to start the season, it feels like it's going to get harder and harder for him to stick around.
I disagree 100% because he's either going to make the team because he's going to pitch and be fine, or he's a reliever. He doesn't need to build up that much. He's a reliever. It's not going to be that hard. And you could just put him on the injured list and have him go to AAA to rehab. Very easy situation.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like in general, it's like they can only have so many looks on guys, and they have such a tight 40-man roster spot that I wonder about, the possibility for him to make the team, because a lot of projections, it's like, can he make it over a Brogdon? Can he make it someone isn't going to make it between
Brogdon, I think both Brogdon and Pallette make it, or Holderman's going to AAA if you ask me. But yeah, I
think one of those 3 isn't going to make it. So
I think very least you put Pallette in the injured list if you have to, and he goes to AAA to rehab, and that works out for everybody.
Which is interesting because Holderman's the highest paid of the 3.
He is, but he has options. So, he's not Ben Lively. All right. We have to get into our prospect rankings. So Jeff and I are going to do a consensus top 30 for the first time this year for Locked On Guardians, for the Guardians. And we've never done that before. So we're going to put together our list, and we're going to debate by 10. So we'll do 30 through 21, 20 through 11, and then 10 through 1 coming up. So, Jeff, I'll just start right now. My number 30th prospect right now is Luke Hill. I think it's a very solid floor for what he could be in the majors. So I do value that, even though I think the upside's a little bit limited. I like the positional versatility. I like the contact. He hit the ball hard in spring a couple times today off of some nobodies, but he hit the ball hard, which is interesting to see.
I've got him 28th, so split the difference and make him 29th.
Yeah, that's fair. I could do Luke Hill 29.
Just relatively safe guy. My 30 was Alaman.
I am at 26. Okay, I actually I went 31 just in case. And I had Schlesinger there. I actually had
Peyton Pallete Schlesinger at 31 as well. So our 31 is easy.
Okay, I had Pallete at 29. So I don't know. Where do you have Pallete?
I've got him at 25.
Oh, all right. We'll come back to 30, I suppose.
Because I liked him more than I liked Alaman. Like I'm not I just like stuff is probably better for
Alaman,
but I'm not much.
You had Alaman at 30, you said?
Yes.
I guess I don't know. I like Alaman's stuff enough. Like it's been the injury thing for me.
I don't
know.
I have DeLauter ahead of Alaman, and I have Pallete ahead of Alaman.
Wow. DeLauter did not make my top 30. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not surprised. Like, I mean, that's one of those guys. He's been kind of like last year, he was 29th for me.
If he moves into a relief role, I feel pretty good about him. I can't project.
I just view him as a reliever already, as like a fastball slider combo that could help the team this year.
But I'm just so cautious to rank anybody that high that's not a closer. Like I think, so I have on my list, depending on what happens to Espino, I don't know. Let's call him a reliever. That's 1. Alaman 2, Pallete 3. I think Schlesinger is a reliever. So I have Walters. So I have 5 relievers in my top 31. That's why I can't rank a ton. So I don't know. I'm fine with going Franco Alaman 30. Like it's fine. I could do that if that's where you had him.
Yeah.
I think the upside's better there, but that's okay. I had Nick Mitchell at 28. That was a guy you really liked. I think he's
26 for me.
Okay. Do you want to? I don't know. You want to put him at 27 then?
Yeah, makes sense. I think he has a chance to be a 4th outfielder, backup, legit center fielder.
Yeah, I do too. He's got really good skills. There's a little bit of passivity to that game too, but he can play all 3 outfield spots. I don't think he has the arm for center, right? But defensively, he's capable. He can work a walk. He can steal a big. There's value in that.
Enough arm for center, right? Maybe,
yeah. Okay, so I had Pallete there at 29. We haven't really found a place to put him yet. We have him at 28. I had Welbin Francisco down at 27. Some people said
I didn't rank him.
Okay, I
He's
thought
32
it was interesting because
for me.
Okay, I mean he was hurt last year, so
I was just never high on him.
I wasn't. I don't like the approach. I had Petey Halpin at 25.
Oh, Halpin didn't make mine.
He's not the 40, and he's very he's advanced Nick Mitchell. He's a good defender. He's got speed. There's a little pop in the bat.
It's great what he's doing this spring, but bottom line, he was in one of the most hitter-friendly environments that exists in baseball a year ago, and he didn't hit. And that's why he was a guy that I had.
Where do you have Kahlil Watson?
That has been kind of one of my bigger debate points. As I've been going through and kind of ranking and trying to figure out and moving.
He's 21 for me. I have him at 21. If we're doing, I have him at 21 here.
I have him at 22.
Okay, let's do 21 for him. Let's just do 21.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that okay?
I can be fine with that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's having a great spring, but we need to see less chasing from him. And I'm not convinced he's a defensive savant in center field. The arm is great, but this is going to be controversial for some people, but I'm not ready to move him up yet based on approach and age and the level he's been at. But I have Unicur Caceres at 22.
Oh, I have him at 12.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a big split. So he's not going to be in 30-21, but I will tell you, I need to see more from him. I need to see.
Yeah, I will say
look better against advanced competition. We've seen this before.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that needs to be pointed out, and I think I texted this to you, I don't think I said it on the air, is he is one of those guys that we are seeing too many people status scout line. When he came up, he set the world on fire.
Status scout line.
Status scout line. Yeah. Status scout line.
Yeah.
Scout the stat line. Because when he came up,
Yeah.
he really did set the world on fire. And then he kind of cooled off. The league adjusted to him to a degree. It's like the numbers are good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, though, I feel like are kind of slightly overvaluing him because, we know defense is never going to be great.
Profile,
he is undersized. The profile has some risks. And
yeah,
what he did as a young kid at that level is great. But we did see kind of a cool off to get to those numbers.
How about Alfonso Rosario? Maybe controversial. I got him at 23 because he was not good at AA and he really struggled in the AFL. The tools are great, but the approach is going to be scary as we get to the upper levels. So I love the upside, but I'm keeping him down on the list for now.
He was honestly my biggest dropper from midseason to now, and I have him at 20.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that AA was just mediocre, and I mean he was really bad in the AFL. Like the AFL is a hitter's paradise traditionally, and he really struggled against the competition there, which is kind of all over the place. Maybe he was tired, maybe it was a long year. He's a young kid.
He was kind of yo-yoed too. Like he was supposed to play overseas, and then Wilfredo Antunes got hurt, so Rosario had to come back and take his spot in the AFL. So maybe that messed with him a little bit. How about we put him at 22? Since Jim at 20, I had him at 23. I think 22 is a good spot for him. I had Dean Curley at 24. I have to rank him higher because of the potential, but
same spot. So that's
okay,
easy.
Well, we can do that. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the approach.
And position.
Is just the defense is just not good right now. He's got to
fix
that arm.
He's probably he's probably a second baseman. Is probably what you're hoping for him. I don't think he's a shortstop, and I don't think he has the arm for third. So I think he's a second baseman.
No, I think he has. I think he has the velocity for a throwing arm. It's the accuracy that scares me.
I don't. That's what I mean. He's got the arm to play shortstop. The arm is not the issue, but he cannot make his throws became horrific last year.
They were bad in Tennessee, and they were bad in
I mean,
so we're missing 23, 25, 26, and 28.
Okay, so the other guys, my 23rd is Cozart. I've got Cozart sitting there at 23 because I still don't know about
him. I had him much higher.
Okay. I still don't necessarily trust the offensive profile. Other guys I have listed in the 20s, I got Franklin Gomez at 21.
I had him much higher than that too. Wow, interesting.
And then have we slotted Pallete? And then at 29 again, towards the back end, another guy I bet you don't even have ranked is I had Hynes, the Canadian prep arm.
I could put Will Hynes at 28. That's fine. I didn't rank him, but I like him enough. That's
I liked him. I thought it was interesting. I had him at 29.
Would you put Hynes above Pallete?
I had Pallete above Hynes on mine because I had Pallete at 25, right? And I had Hynes at 29.
Okay. I had Pallete at 29, so I'll put Pallete at 26. How about that?
Okay.
I think that's fair. So 25 and 23 are kind of our big misses then, because that's where I had Rosario. That's where I had Halpin. I did rank Francisco, and I had Luke Hill. We put Luke Hill 29, but you didn't have Francisco or Halpin in your top 30. So.
No, it's just the Halpin. It's like I spring never shifts me that much. It's fun to talk about trends and things, but it's like last year.
It's not even spring for me. It's just
I get he's got good defense and he runs well. But man, it's just like you can't not hit in Columbus. You just can't.
No, but I think in this system, the fact that he's got this back half of the list, it's like, okay, there's a floor. Like everybody here has a floor. Halpin.
Well, that's like, I mean, for me, it's like, that's why I had
Mitchell floor.
I had DeLauter. I had DeLauter
floor.
Yeah, I had DeLauter here at 27 because I think the fastball slider is going to make him a usable reliever. Like I was just I
can't put DeLauter at 23 or 25.
And for me, I agree. But it's like, for me, DeLauter at 27 is a situation where a useful reliever is more valuable than a fourth outfielder. So that's just my evaluation. Like when I was doing some of this.
Who else do you have down in this range?
So for me, I know. We are running a bit long. Gomez at 20. Well, so Rosario 20, Gomez 21, Watson 22, Cozart 23. Oh, I just accidentally deleted someone here. Just tried to delete Cozart. Curley, then Pallete, then Mitchell, DeLauter, Hill, Hynes, Alamon, Schlesinger at 31, Welbin at 32. And then I just had.
Why don't we do this? Why don't I move Curley to 23? We'll move everybody up. I'll put Schlesinger at 30 since we both kind of like him in that range.
Okay.
Who do you like better, DeLauter or Schlesinger? Because I'll I'll say I like Schlesinger better than.
I mean, I like
DeLauter
DeLauter more,
just
but
because
I'm
of
not gonna fight on it.
All right, so I'm putting Schlesinger 29 and DeLauter 30. How's that sound for a compromise? They're both relievers. I just like DeLauter a little bit more, or Schlesinger a little bit more because he's a lefty, and I think that's going to play better. I like the metrics a little better with him.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's taller, funkier arm angle.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got DeLauter 30, Schlesinger 29, Alamon 28, Luke Hill 27, Will Hynes 26, Nick Mitchell 25, Peyton Pallete 24, Dean Curley 23, Alphonse and Rosario 22, and Kahlil Watson 21. Comment, let us know what you think about that. We'll continue this series. We'll talk about Guardians Dodgers tomorrow as well. We'll talk about how the middle infield is going to shape up this year from start to finish. A lot of stuff to cover this week on Locked On Guardians. Jeff, thank you for filling in for me for 2 days. Hope everybody didn't miss me, or maybe they hope they did miss me.
Hey, no problem. You'll be filling in for me 2 days when my wife goes to conferences. So, we help each other out. That's what friends do. Thank you all for joining us. As always, do all the stuff you know what to do, and go Guardians, go.